I know you have family links with Punjab, so I'd love your take on what the polls are saying.
In fact, as we speak, I'm hosting at least 7 Punjabis at my home. So
Are
there
you
are people.
are you feeding them food from Kerala, or are you feeding them butter chicken and paneer? What are you feeding them?
It's a combination of both. So the idea is that, see, then nobody can predict Punjab. Let me tell you, nobody on this earth can predict Punjab. Forget about the polls, or for that matter. And especially when, on a serious note, the Punjab has also got a multiple dimensions. One is the farming community, जो पिंड वाला जो voters है, or the share वाला जो voters है, they are absolutely way different in their
So
thinking.
when you're saying nobody can predict Punjab, you don't believe these numbers.
Absolutely no. So I'll tell you, even in
Okay,
2017,
let's bring
it
them
did
up
not.
again. Let's take another look at Punjab as Mr. Nambia makes his point. Go ahead,
Yes.
PKD.
So I'll tell you one thing very clearly, that for an example, Akali, till, I mean, even these numbers are still showing something little better for Akalis. If you really remember that, even in the till 2 months ago, nobody was even talking about Akali Dal in Punjab. No national media, nobody was even talking about. It was all about Channi versus Kejriwal. But whereas now all the exit polls are showing there is a number of. I mean, if at all these numbers are true, Akali Dal may become the principal opposition party. So the Punjab do not behave consistently all across the board in the same level in many other states. Punjab within the constituencies do not behave in the same level. They have a
So
different kind of.
you don't.
Now I'll tell you why. The reason being, if you really look at in Punjab, the last 2 weeks of the before the poll, there was a huge change which was taking place all across. All the deras, and deras such as Sauda, and there are large number of deras, and all these deras have absolutely a captive vote, or rather, on their command, there are large number of votes can swing. On the other, there is almost 40 to 45% of Hindu votes, and if you re, break down these Hindu votes, there is a large number of this business community, Bania community, and then Khatris, etc. They all have been able to maybe further little bit more of consolidation because of this, some of this Khalistani connect, because there is a
Yeah.
Hindus in Punjab do believe that Khalistani movement is going to, because they had to go through during the terrorism time.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but these numbers suggest that actually the Aam Aadmi Party was able to do what the Congress tried. The Congress wanted its kind of Amar Akbar Antony moment, with Channi being the Dalit face, Sunil Jakhar being the Hindu face, and Sidhu being the Jat Sikh face. That combination, Kejriwal seems to have managed much more effectively, Mr. Nambiar, with himself being the Hindu face. They have a Dalit face, and in Bhagwant Mann, they have their Jat Sikh face.
No, I'll tell you. See, there is no doubt that Kejriwal has not been able to make him. He has done extremely good as far as it's only going all the way from Delhi and being able to make it. There is no. I'm not going to question that. But will he be able to make it as a government? That is where my question is. I mean, I have my all doubts. Another thing is that there is going to be another interesting stuff. Mark my words. Sidhu is out of politics in Punjab. Out of this after this poll.
Yeah.
See, the Goa is, if you're talking about 13 to 17, the last time, if you really recall, in 2017, it was only 13 seats the BJP got, and they made a government. So I think the Goa is all about not exit polls. Once the poll is done, the Goa's real election and selection changing. 65% of the people have changed their parties even post-election. So I think nobody can predict again the post election result change in Goa. Nobody's of anyone, but I think some 30% of the BJP is the only party which has got 30 to 40% of their leaders have been consistent. Rest all the people have changed parties here and there. So there is most of the surveys are saying that even after 10 years, if this BJP is able to get 17 or in 20 seats, that's pretty good. Then of course easily they will be able to make the government, because you have so many other, like
Yeah.
one or two, even if it's an Aam Aadmi party or and many independents. Let me tell you, Goa will always emerge. There are some strong candidates in Goa, irrespective of political affiliation, they win.
PKD Nambiar, as we get the UP numbers up, any early forecast, a very interesting comment came from the Prime Minister in Pune, where he said that the government had successfully contained COVID and now was successfully managing the Ukraine crisis. If Yogi Adityanath does manage to retain UP without any huge, massive drop in numbers, it would mean that COVID was either not an electoral factor or that the BJP was able to do other things to offset the anger.
For that, I am yet to start reading your book because I bought one. After that, I will give a comment on that.
My
But I'll tell
my
you what.
my book is not about politics at all. It's about
No,
people.
I got the
Yeah.
book, but I could not start reading it.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward. One thing I'll tell you, Barka, I have visited
Okay,
almost
Gilles,
60.
while PKD is making the point, here are three surveys for you to
Yeah.
study. Go ahead, Mr. Nambiar. Yeah.
So I think I have visited, I have traveled almost 60 to 65 odd assembly seats span Uttar Pradesh during the election and even during the election and even before the election as a part of my professional assignments. One thing I'll tell you, after the Mayawati, I mean, if you really look at the 3 decades of UP politics, maybe after the Kalyan Singh and etc., there is only one leader who could command a huge amount of respect. Of course, there is a large number of detractors who would go absolutely against him. That is Yogi. After Mayavadi, I have not seen a single leader. So while he may have a lot of detractors, but Yogi is truly have become a strong and one of the strongest brand in a political brand or an administrative brand in UP. You also need to appreciate the fact that 400 plus seats, assembly seats, 7 phases of an election. Can you imagine that hardly you would have not even able to hear, at least I have not seen in a single media, national media report, there is any kind of a violence during the election. Because you remember the old UP
Yeah, but
Bihar
look at these
election, how
numbers.
used to
Mr.
be.
Nambiar, Mr. Nambiar,
So
turn your
look,
attention to the
I'm telling you,
numbers.
I'm coming to
Yeah.
this. Now, I am saying from 312 or a 310 seats, even if it comes down to a 30, 40, 50 seats, it may be a Western UP would have been little, as my other co-panelist was also telling, there was some kind of a shift because that last time, if you recall, the Western UP completely was in with BJP. There may be some kind of a change may happen. But I must compliment Akhilesh Yadav. I don't know, 4 years he was not even really visible, but he kept all his energy stored for, and he put up a real good fight. And I would say that it was
Yeah.
because more of like a bipolar political
Okay.
activity, Yogi
Yeah.
versus Akhilesh. And even if he is, but I think BJP coming back, any government coming back, even if it is a less margin, that itself is a very big barka. Let's accept that there may be some kind of an anti-incumbency will definitely be there against any government. Even in Narendra Modi was in Gujarat, there was definitely the number of seats coming down.
Okay.
One or two. I think. See, I'll tell you. There is, as I was telling you earlier, Yogi has become truly a household name and a strong political brand in UP and across the country, but in UP specifically. Second thing which I wanted to tell you, I mean, I'm sure that some of other panelists can also really correct if I'm wrong. There is a huge shift in UP politics. The UP politics was completely over the last, at least in the last 15 years of which I have been following, all about caste, the Bhumikar, Brahmin, Dalit, or Dalit maybe further subdivisions, Thakurs. This is the way we used to divide, and in the minority community. Within the minority also, there are some pockets where there is Shia, or in Awadh region will vote like this way, or in the Western UP will vote like this way. Purvanchal to alagi dunia. This is the way we used to really do this. Can you imagine that this time around, the vote of or the discussions about the voting has been changed to a great extent. Of course, the people like you and me who are sitting on the studios will still talk about there is a polarization of votes in different level and etc. But
well, we don't know right now, right?
I would say that there is a Hindu consolidation of vote. There is no doubt. The Hindus have now earlier. You asked me as an analyst. I'm just telling you. Earlier, we used to talk about Mayavadi, who holds some amount of the Hindu votes as the OBCs. The Yadavs used to be with Netaji, or this is the way it used to be divided.
So
the upper caste, the Brahmins used to be as the
you're
BJP.
arguing. you're arguing that there has been a kind of transcendence of votes to the Hindu identity is what
Hindu identity,
is
there is no doubt. Hindu
okay.
consolidation is taking place, which is, I'm not saying that I'm not for a Hindu consolidation of vote. I'm not for any kind of a consolidation.
I
But
understand.
one good part is that we have stopped the micro dividing of caste, subcaste is being going
Okay.
away from that credit goes to
Okay.
Yogi.
Okay. Okay, thank you, PKD. I know you have to go, and I want Dilip to come in with his impressions of UP. We also have